From the studio that brought you the Red Ring of Death, we have 10 reasons why you should hate Microsoft. Number 6 will surprise you.
Hello and welcome back to Across the Podcast. My name is Aiden.
And I'm Stan. No delay this week. We actually have working internet on my end, which is great. So this conversation should go well. More at 10.
Should. So we do actually have 10 studios that have been affected by Xbox layoffs this week, which just more reasons to hate corporations, like we needed anymore.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm going to run through those because a lot of people are just saying Microsoft layoffs. I want to actually point out which studios and what's happening where. So we have Raven Software, which was a notable Call of Duty developer. We don't actually know how many people were laid off for there, but it seems the studio is staying open. We have Turn 10. They were a Forza developer. They lost nearly half of their staff. There is Rare. They were a new studio working on a game called Everwild that has been completely cancelled. ZeniMax Online, they were the developers for Elder Scrolls Online. Their next game, which was going to be a similar MMORPG, has been cancelled. High Moon, which was a Call of Duty co-developer, the exact nature of their layoffs is unknown. And number 6, that may surprise you, The Initiative, the Perfect Dark reboot that was being developed, has been completely scrapped and the studio has been closed. Sledgehammer Games, another COD co-dev team, again, exact nature unknown. Blizzard, Warcraft Rumble, I've never even heard of that game before, but apparently people liked it. All new content for the game has been cancelled. They've lost around 100 people, either going to different departments or just completely laid off. Halo Studios, as most people know them, 343 Industries, who develop Halo. No shit. Exact nature unknown. Romero Games were working on an unannounced project which Xbox was apparently publishing, has been completely cancelled.
Yes. For most of those with we don't know what they were working on and it was canceled. We'll never we'll find out eventually. It'll leak. Somebody will leak it. It always leaks. It's Microsoft. They've got more leaks than a boat with a screen door at the bottom of it. Not using the flex tape. Not using that. If you use that, then it doesn't leak anymore. But then that's a different story. Anyways. I sawed this boat in half. Did you? Okay. But the ones that were announced, especially the Perfect Dark reboot, that was a pretty big deal.
Were really
that would
excited
be
for that one.
That's on the level of if they announced Silksong was canceled. Xbox has been the one that has been giving us basically all the Silksong information we have.
Don't scare me like that.
So, I'm just saying, I'm bringing it up because if it happens, hey, I called it. Okay, so I answer that phone. But
Silksong has
Perfect
all the
Dark.
backers.
I guess it wasn't perfect. Does it?
That was the whole point.
It was supposed to come out how many years ago?
Well, that's when it was a DLC.
Okay. But we've got all this canceled. But Microsoft is bringing you, or Xbox, whichever one you want to. They're together. Surprise.
It is technically a Microsoft layoff,
it.
but it is mostly affecting Xbox.
Yes, but do not fret. That is not stopping the new MetaQuest Xbox Edition or the new ROG Ally or Rogue, however you want to pronounce it, Xbox Edition. Those are not affected at all. You will still get your wonderful exact same hardware that has an Xbox. Yeah, that has an Xbox button. What I'm waiting for though is since we're gonna stop making Xbox consoles, will the Switch 3 or the PS6 have an Xbox edition where it has a button on it that you can just launch into the Microsoft store? Because that would be, honestly, nobody's going to want it, but maybe. We got the C button on the Switch now. Maybe next time we have an X button, another X, a different X. It's an X button. It's a different X button. It'll be in a location that's completely inconvenient because Nintendo's good at that. But Hey, it'll be green, maybe. I don't know. Maybe they'll sell the color green. Maybe they'll cancel that. Maybe they'll shut down the studio that came up with the Xbox green format. I don't know. There's no telling. But yeah, so Microsoft is just doing what they do, and that's laying people off and taking more money for themselves. And I I don't know, man. Why do we defend Microsoft at this point? By the way,
I don't.
PlayStation still hasn't raised their prices. Just gonna sneak that in there. Um, Prices have still not raised, so we're good on that. And to jump into pricing, I'm gonna skip a little bit here because we did talk about Xbox. There's not much. We broke everything down, but pricing wise, there's been some dramatic things said about Nintendo Canada. Apparently, there was I can read the exact. I want to read the exact thing because I want to put the right information out there. Okay, I'm going to read exactly what Nintendo said. Then I'm going to tell you what other people took from that, and then I'm going to give you my truthful opinion on it. So this is their exact update. It says pricing on the original Nintendo Switch family of systems and products in Canada will change based on the market conditions. These include Nintendo Switch OLED model, Nintendo Switch Lite, physical and digital Nintendo Switch games, and Nintendo Switch accessories. Other Nintendo products, including the Amiibo and Nintendo Switch Online memberships, will also experience price changes. Please note, these pricing change this pricing, I'm sorry, I'm going to read it exactly. This pricing change does not apply to the Nintendo Switch 2 system, accessories, or software. Pricing information specific to the Canadian market will be shared at their website, the Nintendo Canada store, on 8/1. Now, the consensus from this is somebody said, "Oh, Nintendo's raising the prices in Canada." And apparently every reputable news outlet for gaming decided to follow that and be like, "Oh my god, Nintendo's raising the prices or whatever." Now, that's what everyone's saying. I want to break this down in a way that makes sense. It says, based on the market conditions, the Switch is 8 years old at this point. Nobody's going out and buying a new Switch. There's no reason to. Switch has done nothing but drop in price since the Switch 2 has come out. If you're going to buy one, you're going to buy a Switch 2. It's the biggest selling console of all time. Nobody needs it anymore. You either have it already or you don't give a shit. It's pretty simple. So the market's not going to go up for it. So there's not going to be price increases. And if there are, no one's going to suffer from them because nobody's buying it. So who cares? They're not Microsoft. They're not just going to raise their 8-year-old console's price at the end of its life just because. Once again, crapping on Microsoft here. But my takeaway from this is that they're trying to tell people, like, expect Nintendo Switch prices to drop. Like, the Game Boy price dropped, the 3DS price dropped, the GameCube price dropped, the Wii, the Wii U, all their prices dropped at a certain point when the next console came out. Except for the Wii U, it just kind of dropped the moment it was released because nobody wanted that. So they're just kind of giving you a heads up, is what I'm thinking, that the prices are going to drop. That's my opinion. And I could be wrong. Check back here in a month because we'll know by then for sure. But I'm pretty sure they're just going to drop. I don't see a world where they raise the prices for something that's less wanted. It says market. Market means people want it. Nobody wants a Switch right now. Nobody wants a brand new Switch. For what? You're this late already? Why do you want one? I don't see how I could be wrong, and I don't see how the other people could be right.
Time will tell. In a similar vein,
Yeah.
though, I've also been seeing several articles from people making things up. There have been a lot of articles of people complaining that the Switch 2 is overheating when in docked mode. If you click on any of these articles and go to their sources, it's just like a couple Reddit threads from some dude that says, "Yo, it gets warm when it's in the dock. What the hell?" Like, that's how computers work. Of course,
Have you ever felt a PlayStation? Have you ever felt an Xbox? Have you ever felt a PC? Have you ever went up and touched any of these while they're running? Guess what? They get hot. Heat gets created. That's why fans are put in them. Now, not all of them work correctly. Red Ring of Death. Not all of them work correctly. because they will overheat. And that also depends on how you store them. If you put it in a shelf with no ventilation, it's going to overheat. It needs air flow. That's how it gets cool air to cool the system down. It expels the hot air, pulls cool air in. If you have it in a box, secluded, it's nothing but hot air that is pulling back into itself, which makes it overheat. So let's start with that first, people. Make sure that if you have something like a Nintendo Switch 2 or a PS5 or whatever, it's in an area that's pretty well ventilated. I feel like that should be obvious, but for some people it's not. So I'm just putting it out there. It will help. It's not going to 100% proof everything, but there are aftermarket fans and stuff you can buy if you really want to, if you're that concerned about it. Myself, the same way, which maybe I'm just lucky. I've never experienced stick drift on any of my Nintendo Switch consoles, and I've never experienced any of my systems overheating. But I hardly play with the Joy-Cons because I have a Pro controller. I mean, who likes playing with Joy-Cons? I play in handheld mode sometimes, but like that's it. I'm not playing Fortnite with a Joy-Con because that's going to be way too aggressive for it. And then for consoles, I always put them in a place that's, pretty open because I think about it. So I'm not trying to call anybody out, but maybe when you're putting a system somewhere, make sure it can ventilate. That's
also
pretty much
a good reminder. When you see articles, most people don't seem to go through the effort of checking sources. Some people don't seem to go through the effort of even clicking on the article at all, and they just read the title of the article and run with that like it's gospel. The whole point of the internet these days is to get people to click your thing. They're gonna say anything to make you click the thing, so check if it's true.
Also, another thing, when you comment on something, and you're like, oh, well, this is obviously just they're just farming comments or whatever. Well, when you comment that, you are doing exactly what they want you to. Don't comment. Don't like it. Don't dislike it. Don't do anything. Just simply move on.
Except for
perhaps
our stuff.
Block that.
When we post something that's obviously rage bait, still,
call us out on
comment.
It. Yeah, subscribe, do all that jazz, everything like that. Do that. But for anybody else, no. Get them, because look, we're not going to flood your Twitter feed if you still use Twitter. We're not going to flood that because we're not on there. We're not going to just spout misinformation unless it's a funny. But we're going to bring out the point that it's a funny. We're not going to sit here and try to tell you that, oh, the Nintendo Switch 2 is blowing up because that's how Nintendo designed it. Like, we're not going to say that and be serious about it. That was a joke. Nintendo did not design the Switch 2 to blow up. They have done some terrible things. That's not one of them that we can confirm at this moment. Now, one of the things that Nintendo has done that is a little bit weird, and this is a source I went through and read and found. I went several pages in to find the exact source of where it came from and what they were told. And apparently somebody had their Nintendo Switch 2 banned. So, not bricked. We're not bricking. Remember that, people. They're not bricking your console. No brick. Ban. Which is still pretty bad. Like, there's a lot you can't do with ban. You can't do online features, so you can't open the eShop. If you have digital games, you can't re-download them if you don't already have them downloaded to that system if it becomes banned, which is terrible. That should not exist. If you already own the game, you should be able to download that, whether it's banned or not. But honestly, just stop getting banned. But for the ones that are getting banned and it's like not their fault, like their username was so-and-so, they should get a warning. Like, hey, change your username. Or, hey, here's an idea, Nintendo. Don't allow that username. You have the ability to do that. Don't allow it. When somebody goes to type it in, be like, nope, this is offensive. Don't do this. But Nintendo cannot correct their mistakes. So if your account gets banned and your Switch 2, the actual device itself is now banned, which means nobody can ever use it again, they don't have a way to fix that. There's no way around it. So what they suggest you do is take that device back to where you bought it from, get another one, which then introduces that Switch 2 that you locked into the used market The specific one I'm talking about was GameStop, and we know GameStop sells used items. So if you take a banned Switch 2 to GameStop and be like, hey, this doesn't yada yada, whatever, and you get another one, that one is going on sale. That one is going to be sold to somebody, and it's not going to work.
You'll love to
So,
see it.
best case scenario, best case scenario, they can take it back and get another one, maybe, that's not banned. Worst case scenario, they're stuck with a banned Nintendo Switch 2. So, in my opinion, right now, look, you see a Switch 2 that's used, stay away from it, because there's a decent chance that it's probably banned, and you don't want that. You definitely don't want to go buy, because you're not getting much of a discount. You'll get what, maybe $50 off, if that. I haven't looked into the used Switch 2 market because I have two that I bought new, and I don't need to buy a used one. But going forward, because I have owned multiple versions of their consoles, going forward, I will know that used is probably not a market that I want to experience things with. So, unfortunately, it does kind of support the company because you have to buy their stuff new in order to know that it works, which is scummy at the bare minimum. But it's what you have to do. If you want to protect yourself, it's what you have to do. And if you don't want to protect yourself, don't complain about it when it happens, because you did it. You've been given the warnings. If I tell you don't jump in water because sharks and you get bit by a shark, well, don't complain about it. I told you there were sharks there.
Same thing, really.
It is. It simply is. If your Switch 2 is banned, it's just like losing your legs to a shark attack. Bruce got fed, though, and we care about the animals, so at least Bruce got fed.
Well, Nintendo may not have designed the Switch to blow up, but they have designed it to pretty much eliminate the third-party dock market, kind of.
Yes.
So the USB-C port on the Switch, or ports, I should say. Not that you're ever using the top one to dock it, but maybe. They have a particular chip in them that has been found by some third-party manufacturers that encrypts the port, so it can only be used by certain inputs. Okay, yeah, this is exactly what it sounds like. Basically, and this chip also supports firmware, so even if people figure out how to crack it, Nintendo can update it and break it again. So, the issue with this isn't the fact that it actually stops third-party dogs from working. They probably will still work most of the time. The issue is that because there's an encryption chip on there, this then brings DMCA into the mix, which means Nintendo can tell people who are trying to make third-party dogs that they're not allowed to. So you're still going to find the third-party random-ass companies you've never heard of making third-party docs, but in terms of, good docs from reputable companies, you're probably not going to happen because they're going to get taken down.
Well, you've got people that partner with Nintendo.
Some of them
all the
are
time to
licensed,
make their stuff. So if it's licensed, I mean, you could still get a third party that work. If it doesn't say Nintendo on the box, I hate to say it, but if it doesn't say that, don't buy it.
That is fair. Third-party docs aren't
Nintendo
really
has always been very
anyway.
finicky. Yeah. It's always been very finicky on what you can use with a Nintendo product. And before everybody goes screaming, oh, well, that's Nintendo just being greedy, you're probably the same person that could be watching this on an iPhone right now, and I want you to check yourself, okay? At least the Switch 2 came with a charger. Just saying. Only one. It has two ports, and it only came with one, so I'm a bit miffed about that.
Has anyone tried plugging a charger into both at the same time? What happens?
No, I'm not that. I don't have that much money to just try to test that out.
I want to see what happens.
I have charged with both at different times, but I'm not about to hook both of them up and have my Switch 2 just act all kind of, yeah. Just be sitting there like, hey guys, look at this, it charged. Well, I need a new one. Of course, Nintendo would just tell me to take it back to GameStop and have them switch it out, and then somebody will buy that one and it won't work. So,
Well, you would still have
which
to buy it at something like GameStop though, because you can't buy it on Amazon US.
That's true. I would say that with the GameStop procedure, like I'm pretty sure you can ask before you buy a used console to make sure that it will boot up and go online. So,
Wouldn't know.
if you're going to buy a used game console, check that out. See if they'll and if they don't let you, then don't buy it from them because that's shady. Like if they won't let you test it to make sure that it's fully operable, because they will, if you go to turn it into them for them to give you money for it, they're going to check to make sure that it's fully operable. So you make sure that they let you check that it's fully operable before you buy it. And if they say no, walk out with your head held high that you didn't get screwed over. Because, my goodness. That's. Ooh.
But yeah.
Wait, what is this about the 5 million units? What?
Oh, we can go to that.
Yeah,
So,
tell me about that because I didn't know this.
Nintendo on their website put out a piece of data that said that the Switch had sold 5 million units. And then a couple days later, they took it back and said, oh, that was actually test data. We just kind of pulled a number out of nowhere to see if it worked. That's not actually true. We don't have
so
any
they not sold 5 million
We don't
yet?
know. We don't have any actual data on it yet.
Well, okay, so is the data that it was like they sold 3.5 million in like the first 2 weeks, was that accurate?
That might be.
Because if that was accurate, I mean I could see 5 million at this point.
Yeah, I'm not saying they haven't.
Sold 3.
Honestly, my best guess is it's probably more than that, but they haven't.
Yeah,
they don't
I would assume.
know.
I would assume basically whatever it is they had pre-produced for launch, they've sold at least 70% of that. So that would probably be a good number to know. Like, Nintendo, can you tell us how many did you make? That'd be a neat little factoid to have. Like, how prepared were you?
It could have been more
I'd like
prepared
to know that
though,
information.
because as I alluded to earlier, the Switch 2 didn't sell on Amazon, and now we know why. It turns out.
Well, that's Amazon's fault.
It is Amazon's fault, right? Yes. It turns out that people were buying the original Switch in bulk, and then on Amazon you can sell from your own store, like you do on eBay and Etsy and stuff.
Yeah.
People were like,
you can do that on Target and Walmart too.
Can you? Didn't know that.
When you go to Target and Walmart or whatever, you have to there's a section you can go sold and shipped by Walmart and or Target.
Huh.
So these sites accept people selling their own stuff as well. Because I've bought from another from another person through Target before. This is how you can get some of the older stuff, like 3DS games. You can still get 3DS games on Target, but it does not say sold by Target.
Yeah, people were flipping them on Amazon US specifically, apparently. So Nintendo was like, all right, you don't get the Switch 2, and they just didn't.
Yeah. Well, there were also some issues with Amazon breaking Street Day.
Mm-hmm.
Or the street date.
Yeah.
Like you would get things early because, Amazon is all about their shipping. And they're going to get you something on time and or early. The problem is you can't ship a game early if it hasn't released yet and you haven't been given permission to. So that was another big issue because that happens with a lot of their content, not just necessarily Switch stuff, but any games in general. You may just get them early.
Yeah.
And Nintendo's not about that. Nintendo don't want you to have anything before they tell you you can't have it. So that was another issue with them in the Amazon. So it may or may not get resolved someday. They still, as far as I know, have not had very many Switch 2 things. So
Yeah.
maybe one day, but not yet. So good luck with that. If you just have to buy from Amazon, I guess you're not getting it. Broaden your horizon a little bit. Other places ship things too. Not Target though. I will not support Target for buying a Switch 2 because of what they did to me. I will not. Also, I don't know if anybody knows or cares about this, but you see this Switch 2 box right here that has the little cool decal on it of Mario Kart World. The Target version was the one that just had the sticker slapped on the box and had a download code in it instead of. So technically, I owned both of them at one point. That one is from Walmart, and my other one is from GameStop, and they both had it's on the box, like it is there. You can't peel that off. But the Target one was a sticker, and you get a download code, which I don't care for that. Like I like the fact that that's a certain edition of a box.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm me though, so that may not be everyone's cup of tea, but it's mine, and I will drink it.
Fair.
So, yay.
We'll stop absolutely dumping on Nintendo though, because we do have some cool stuff. We got the overview trailer
Sure, why not?
for Donkey Kong Bonanza. Except I am kind of going to dump on this anyway, because the overview trailer, I don't know if you watched it.
I did not actually. I watched the thing last week that Nintendo put out, and then I'm gonna buy the game.
Yeah,
so
don't bother. It's basically exactly the same. There is no new information in the overview trailer. They repeat things that were in the direct. In fact, some of them are straight up the same clips, copy pasted with the same voiceover. There is some new gameplay clips. Nothing spectacular. I think that the bit that interested me, there's like a 3-second clip of someone doing some of the more advanced movement. That is it. It's an 8-minute video. I enjoyed 3 seconds of it.
I do love that video. The video was so. I love when it first opened because it's like you can walk, you can run, you can punch. It's like okay, why the do I need a breakdown of movement?
You can breathe.
Who is sat in front of this right now going, "Oh, you can run, you can walk, you can punch? No way. You can jump? Who would have what? There's like who was sat there acting like that? Who was that for? Who was concerned that we weren't going to be able to jump? Like when you get into like the double jump and like you can throw a rock and ride the rock or whatever, or you can like Minecraft things out of sand or whatever. That's cool. I didn't know you could do that. Thank you for telling me. But walking? Even Death Stranding does that. All right? We knew it was going to happen.
They have officially confirmed though that this is the Odyssey team, which everyone knew. I've been saying it for weeks.
Obviously.
You know, it's very clear that this is the Odyssey team, but now it is officially confirmed.
Yeah, they had to work on something.
Yeah. Which does beg the question, when are we getting the next 3D Mario? Because if it's not made by them, will it be as good? And if it is made by them,
then you've probably got another 2 years
at least
they can have.
minimum, like probably
unless
more.
unless they use most of the bones from this game to make that one. Like
doesn't seem like
if they go that
what
route,
they would do.
It doesn't, but hey,
I don't know.
If you're trying to get another game
We'll
out
see.
there. I would say probably 2026 or 2027 is the best you've got at getting another 3D Mario game.
I think Donkey Kong Bonanza is going to be the stand-in for 3D Mario. It's instead of for a little while at least.
I feel like you'll still get one eventually.
Eventually, sure,
to know
of
about
course,
that money.
but
and it'll be better than the Pokemon games. See, I knew I could get away in there to bring in the Pokemon.
He
games.
always has to.
Still playing those, by the way. Loving them. I love Pokemon Brilliant Diamond. It's a great game. I don't know what the hate is. I don't know why you're hating. I've been playing it, loving it. It's great. I built a Groudon Game Boy over the weekend. That was cool. That was with a buddy of ours at DJ Skeletor on Twitch. Also, Skeletor Retros. He has a shop where he builds them and sells them. That's on Etsy. So, like, check that out because he has a lot of cool things on there, and he has tons more too. You can reach out to him, and he can build you specific things. He's very, very good at what he does, and I appreciate him. That was my birthday present. He gave me everything that was there, and was like, he build this, and then we built it, and then at the end, he was like, "Happy birthday." So that's pretty awesome.
His birthday's not for a few weeks
Yeah,
yet, though.
check him out. Yeah, my
no
birthday's in like 3
premature
weeks,
celebration. I don't want to see a single happy birthday for this man. I'm joking.
Well, I mean, come on now. But you know, I was down visiting him, which is quite a bit away. It's not a terrible amount away, but it is a bit of. I drove for like 10 hours to get there, and then 10 hours back. So I probably won't be down there again for a while. I did check flight prices, and I may fly there next time. It's a lot shorter, and it's not as expensive as I thought. So I might do that next time.
Fair.
But we also went retro game hunting too, and I found a Pokemon. Well, no, okay, hold on. Let me back up a little bit and tell this story proper. So on the way down to his place, I stopped at a GameStop, just a random GameStop, and it was a GameStop Retro. But I didn't know that. There was no marketing to let you know that it was a GameStop Retro. It just simply was one when you went inside. When I walked in there, they were putting up the signs that were like buy 2 games, get 1 free. And I was like, oh, okay, that's all right. Well, that sale started as I walked in the building, which is cool because it was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Like you would think that would have started earlier since it starts when they open. But I guess they just didn't tell anybody till 2. So everybody in there buying 2 games, not getting 1 for free. Whoops. I found this, which is Final Fantasy Tactics for the PS1, complete in box. No scratches on the disc whatsoever, and I paid $19 for it, which I feel like is a really good deal to get from a store you could take it back to if anything was wrong. I also found a Yu Yu Hakusho Game Boy Advance game, which I know nothing about, but had to buy it simply on the name alone. And I found Pokemon Sun, and it was also $19. The Game Boy Advance game was only $7, so that was pretty cool. But they also had a couple of like DS Pokemon games in there for sale. I don't know if they were authentic or not, and I wasn't gonna find out for paying $80 for a DS game that may not be. So then we went down and did some retro game hunting in his area, and I found bupkis. Nothing. Like I don't think I bought a single item. Did I?
Kiss.
I don't think I did. No, yes, I did. I bought Batman. Or wait, did I buy that up here?
Batman.
I don't know. I think I bought the Batman double pack. I did buy that. I bought that down there. It was like $13. It's the Return to Arkham series. I bought it because
it's not
of this
really
guy
retro,
over here.
but
it's over 10 years old.
God, oh my god. The Return to Arkham isn't, surely. The originals might be.
Let me check. Let's see. What year is on the back of it? Oh, it says 2016.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the new ones were like PS4 era.
It says 2009 to 2016, so I'm assuming that Arkham Asylum came out in 2009. And then Arkham City would have been a little bit after that.
That sounds about right.
And then this double pack would have come out in 2016.
City was like, what, 2012, 2013-ish?
Yeah, that's 13 years ago.
Oh!
It's considered retro at this point, man. I don't even want to talk about what we should call that game, and I played that as a kid. Like...
I would show you some of my PlayStation 1 and 2 games, but as you can see... I've been robbed! No, I'm moving house. So they're not there right now.
Yes. Yeah. He's still got the Batman over his shoulder.
Yeah, I had to keep this guy here. So in maybe like, maybe not next episode, but maybe the episode after. New backdrop, exciting.
Yeah. It won't be a green screen. It'll be real. I know that's weird to see on a thing. Also, by the way, this is like you saw. I reached back there and grabbed that game. This is real. This is not a backdrop. This is real. You will notice that my Nintendo Switch stack is shorter, and that's because the other day they all fell. I was hoping that would happen on camera. It didn't, so I don't have proof of that. But you remember the stack is like this tall, and now it's down to here. So
He's
like, they
been
all
robbed.
fell. They're down here in the floor. I've stacked them. You know, they are stacked on the floor, but I'm not putting them back up there till I get another shelf to put them on because I don't want them to just continuously fall. I will say most of them are empty anyways because they're in like I have a carrying case that fits like 80 games because that's easy for the Switch. They're just this big. So they're all in there, safe. The case has just got a little bit of experience with gravity.
Personality.
You know, they weren't defying it, that's for sure. But I yeah, I'll get that together at some point. Thank you. I try sometimes. You could say it was a Wicked reference, right?
Dude.
Anyways, what is I don't know what this one thing is you have, the ACMI. What is that?
Okay, so do you remember a few weeks ago during our Silksong news, I said Silksong was going to be at an Australian game museum style event?
Right.
That is
yeah,
this.
That's what that is. Okay.
So the tickets for that, the general sale, not the pre-sale. The pre-sale is still up as we speak. The general sale was going to go live on the 17th of July. It has since been delayed to the 31st. Some people are speculating that this is because they're trying to avoid people scalping the tickets because Silksong will be there. By Team Cherry telling them that maybe there's going to be some Silksong related news between the 17th and the 31st. That would stop
I wish
people
they would
doing
stop
that.
with the speculation bullshit and just tell us. Oh my God, they're getting on my nerves. Look, I wanted this game. I wanted to try it because everybody's been talking about it. This guy is so excited about it. I know several people that are really excited about it and everything. And I really wanted to, give it a solid try. But the way this is being handled has pissed me off so much. For a game that I truthfully don't even care about, it's pissed me off so much that I don't even know if I want the game anymore. This is ridiculous.
I would like
they could have handled this so much better. They still make it, but don't expect me to be a customer because my goodness, this is irritating.
This is. I'm aware I sound like a tinfoil hat conspiracy. That's by design. It's funnier that way, but It probably has nothing to do with Silksong. They probably just had like a weird IT issue, and they were like, "Yeah, but bump it up a couple weeks."
Yeah, could be. Who knows?
We'll see. All that means is that Silksong, for the most part, is done, which is also supported by the fact that they've been updating the Steam page like hell. That's been updated like a dozen times in the last week or something.
Okay.
We'll get it
Silksong news.
Baby, week 14. You'll love to see it. Can we really call it week 14? Because I definitely have missed weeks. This is episode 14, but we haven't talked about it every week.
I feel like we brought it. Up. We've tried to make a point to bring it up every week.
We have, but I know there's a few that I couldn't get clips out of, so that means it probably wasn't substantial.
I'm about to say, and the sad part is that this actually started like the week of the Switch 2 announcement, which was where we saw that very little bitty tiny baby clip.
Yeah, that's the only reason we do this.
Since then, we've had every week of not knowing any fucking thing more, basically. We just have to pull things out of the sky and be like, they posted on Twitter, it's coming, blah, blah. And just nothing. Xbox showed it off on their new, I don't want to say it's new hardware because it's the ROG Ally with an Xbox button, but they showed it off
new button.
Then caused confusion. Yeah. So, like, I don't know. They could have done it better.
They could have done it better.
Yeah, they could have just released it on a normal day after announcing it, like Death Stranding 2 did. But, then I'm overheated about Silksong. This is a whole different overheating issue. Apparently, Death Stranding 2 has been overheating the PS5.
The base
We
PS5
talked about that earlier.
specifically. The Pro is apparently fine.
Yeah,
The Slim, I believe, is also
of course it
apparently
is.
fine, but
Oh god, of course I have the
the
original.
original base
Lucky me, I'm not
PS5
playing it anyways.
has been
How does a
overheating.
walking sim overheat your
Apparently, the
PlayStation?
graphics are like quite insane. The thing is, though, people
Fine.
have been saying it doesn't overheat while you're playing. It's when you go to the pause menu. Which, like, how? What is happening to make that happen? I would love to get
The
a
crypto
look under
mining
the
in the
hood
pause
of that
menu?
because, gee, maybe.
That's so
I
interesting.
have no
Well,
idea
the
what this is
good
about.
news is we do have a statement from AMD about the chip that they're working on for the PS6. So if you have a standard PS5, maybe you don't want your game overheating. Wait and get the PS6. It shouldn't overheat on that, assuming it's backwards compatible.
We'll see.
Who knows? It will be very machine learning focused. What is machine learning for? What is this?
I
This is a
love how we
technical
just
thing. This is
read
you.
things out with no idea what they mean.
Your turn. Go ahead.
So, the AMD chip that is being developed for the PS6 is going to be very machine learning focused. I say machine learning focused because it isn't necessarily AI in the way that people have come to understand that term now. You know, it's
Okay.
so essentially what's going on is there are two main things that they're doing with machine learning algorithms. The first one is called FSR, which is basically DLSS but like better. It's just upscaling. It's like super resolution they call it. So that's just taking an image that's being generated by the actual shaders and the program and then using that image of every frame and using a machine learning AI algorithm to pick out each pixel and make, like 4 pixels out of it without just copy pasting and making it look all blocky. The second thing that they're doing is much more interesting and also much more concerning is the machine learning frame generation. So frame gen is already a thing, right? People have it. It's on a lot of PCs already. What it is essentially is it takes the I need to not use too technical terms. So we have what's called the frame buffer, which is you have the frame you are making and the frame that you are on, okay? And these swap. So you have the frame that you're on, which is the frame being displayed on the monitor, and then you have the frame that the program is actually making. And then when it's done, they swap. It doesn't just make a new one and discard it, because that would be very wasteful. There are things called pointers, which are things in memory, which it's a whole thing. Basically, you have 2 frames that it keeps at any given time, and instead of cycling new frames, it draws over the top of one and then swaps them. What that means is that you always still have the frame before the one you're currently looking at. So what it does is it is basically going to use AI to find the midpoint between those two, try and make another frame out of nothing. Essentially, it's not actually making the frame in the way that you generally would. It's using AI to find the midpoint. If you've got one frame with someone stood here and another frame with someone stood here, it's going to guess that in between those frames they were stood somewhere in the middle, and it's going to use that.
It's just gonna guess.
Basically,
Well, they're
yes.
here and then they're there, so it's maybe they're here.
That is exactly what it's doing. Basically, that is already a thing, but they're apparently trying to make it much better and a specific version for the PS6, which is cool.
We
But
like better, so
it depends how they're doing this machine learning. Is how are they training this AI to decipher between frames? We'll see.
well, they're not doing like Microsoft and firing all their divisions to do it. So
It's cool to see. It's
I
very
respect
early
them.
days to speculate on any of it. Obviously, even though people have been talking about the PS6 a lot, we do have confirmation that it's going to be at least a couple of years before we actually see the thing. So,
Yes, which is fine.
which is
Perfectly
good,
fine. Like
good even.
the PS5, there's no reason to need a PS6. The PS5 is perfectly fine. I don't see any. It's not like you've gotten to the end of its life cycle and there are certain things it can't do. It can do so much. So the fact that we have a pro that is taking advantage of the things or whatever, like if you want a little bit more of an enhanced experience, then you just get a pro. That's all the PS6 is going to be, is just a little bit more enhanced version. That's all every game console is, which is why I don't understand why people got so mad at the Switch 2. It's that's what a new gen is. It's just the old one a bit better. That's how they
I
work.
will say
They're not
Sony.
as egregious as phones, like releasing one every year, but they, and they cost more than game consoles. So why are we mad at game consoles and not phone companies?
You make a good
Be
point.
mad at them.
Sony is very good for the most part of not releasing anything until there is a substantial improvement to warrant it. At least for
Yeah.
actual
And
full console cycles. Mid-fresh, maybe,
they're also good
you
at
know,
not raising their prices.
that they have
We appreciate
still
that.
yet to do. But yes,
Still right.
the PlayStation 1 was obviously pretty revolutionary. The PlayStation 2 was essentially just a beefier PlayStation 1. PlayStation 3 was a whole other beast. That you could talk for days about everything going on in that thing. The PS
It's still usable this day.
Yeah.
It's one of the oldest pieces of hardware that is still usable this day.
It's insane. The PS4 was when they moved over to von Neumann and basically made it like a mini PC, and it like started doing that. Then the PS5, they started doing the like DX12 style way of doing things that it's really interesting.
Yeah. And if you could hack a PS5 to work as a standard PC, if you could figure out some way to do that, it would be better than most PCs that are on the market.
Yeah.
So,
And say they are
that's
very specialized. Xbox is literally just a small computer with a UI on it. PlayStation's not so much. They have a lot more going on under the hood that makes it more interesting to me.
specifically for games,
Yeah.
which is fine because it's what you buy it for.
Yeah, it's fine,
But
you know.
So it's a lot of technology packed into it, which is great. That's what we like. We like getting a lot of things in one thing. That's why we buy it.
There's a reason you're not
for
seeing
them.
things like Rift Apart on Xbox launches, you know? They need the specific technology that Sony, and then they need either way further development to get them to work on PC, which is why it comes out 2 years later, or they need, you know, very special hardware.
Which another thing that PlayStation is doing, better than Microsoft, of course, is physical editions. Because I mentioned Final Fantasy Tactics, and they're remaking Tactics, and I'm going to buy it. It's on the Square Enix store. You can get the PS5 or the Nintendo Switch version. The Xbox version is digital.
That's crazy.
So, and that's to mention the fact that we're also going to get a physical version of the Hellblade 2 game for PS5. Not getting it for Xbox, even though it's an Xbox owned company.
You love to see it.
Yeah, sure. Someone does, not me. Very irritating. All right. Then the next thing, I don't even know what that means.
The save games thing.
Yeah, I want to save games. That's why I buy them physical.
This is right up your alley. Honestly, I would have told you
Pokemon
sooner if it wasn't for the fact that it's not a thing in the US. But the save games dude's out. He's done. The save games initiative. There's been a lot of drama about this lately. There's been a lot of things going on with pirate software. I'm gonna be honest. I don't care. I don't care about the drama. This isn't that kind of channel. I'm talking about the actual initiative. So if you were here for that,
the Avengers Initiative.
If you were here for that, go watch bloody I forget his name.
Don't name drop anybody. Just go watch someone else.
Yeah, okay. Go watch someone else.
Yeah.
Moist Critical. That's what I was doing.
Oh God, why?
But if you're here for the actual news, hello, my name is Aiden. This I love winding this guy up. It's one of my favorite pastimes. The Save Games Initiative is a set. He's gone. Okay, hi. I'm gonna keep talking. The Save Games Initiative is basically a petition that a lot of people have signed so far, and a lot of people will hopefully continue to sign. The idea is that it is to pass laws to force companies to make an end of life plan for when they take when they take a game offline. So when they have a game that requires servers, an online game, a lot of the time when companies stop supporting these servers, the game is then just dead. There's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing to work. The idea of this is to force these companies to at least allow you to host your own servers or something to do, you know, not necessarily that they have to support it forever, but they have to make it so that you can play it in some capacity.
Yeah. I'm cool with that. That's awesome because there are a lot of games that you can buy right now. Games you can buy, not own, but you can buy them. That in 2 to 3 years you may not be able to play because they're just shut down.
Yeah,
and that's the point of buying a game is to be able to have. Otherwise, you'd rent it. But we don't rent games. We buy them. They sell them to us. They don't rent them to us. It's they are on sale. That's what it says. That's how that works. Like, you can change terminology all you want to, but if you sell something and I buy it, that means I own it. So I should be able to play it. Right?
that's what this is arguing.
Yeah.
Is that you should be
and
able to
they're
do
right.
that.
I 100% agree with it. What country do I need to move to for me to be able to partake in this?
I believe right now it is just the UK and Europe. I don't think Australia or the US are involved. I could be wrong about Australia. I do know for certain that the US is not involved though.
I don't know that they would appreciate this over there at tea time, but I don't know.
But
Only
yeah,
one way to
that's
find
really
out.
cool. Go check it out. Sign it if you are in the EU. Well, not necessarily the UK
Yeah.
still counts.
Yeah. See, I didn't know there was a difference. I'd have a lot of learning to do.
Brexit. Oh, let's not get into that here. 'Cause I will get mad. Anyway, Sonic Team. They do things right now. Just a few weeks ago, we talked about how they were pairing up with Red Bull for some stuff. There he is. That's the guy.
Sonic.
That is the Sonic. They've now also teamed up with McLaren. There was an F1 event featuring Sonic with an exclusive manga they were handing out. It looked pretty cool. It's done now, but you know, it's what I want to talk about is the fact that, like, why is Sonic? What are they gearing up for here? Is it just Cross Worlds, or are they really trying to put more into this brand? Because they're doing a lot of stuff at the moment.
They could just be trying to expand a lot because, you know, the biggest things you know about video games, especially with the culture that's being put out now with the Sonic movies and everything like that, the biggest things are Mario, Sonic. That's why you have like Mario and Sonic at the Olympics and stuff like that. So if, you know, we got a Mario Kart game, you've got a Sonic racing game that's going to be coming out, maybe they're just trying to get their brand out there and become more like Mario, to where they can charge $80 for a game and say it's because it's worth it. Maybe.
I like Sonic. I'm looking forward to whatever they're cooking up.
Yeah, I like them too. That's why I have games that I've bought that I haven't opened yet.
And finally, Sonic. I didn't talk about this at the time because it isn't a game, really. But Sonic teamed up with DC, as in the comic company, not the place. To make a line
point, good point.
of comics, they're still currently coming out. I believe they're on issue 4 at the moment, something like that. It's just a crossover between the DC Justice League and with the Sonic cast. This now,
Kind of cool.
it is cool. I really want to pick it up.
Yeah, I usually don't buy characters playing other characters because I like the originalness of things. I am a Funko buyer. In case you didn't notice, I do have a Sonic Funko. He's over there, and it would. I'm too lazy to get him. I'm just gonna be honest. But I wore my Batman Funko Pop shirt, which was, it's specifically a Funko shirt, and it's Batman.
So if you're wondering why Funkos really cool are relevant,
so
it's because they're releasing Funkos for this crossover, which is cool.
They are.
I want to pick up.
I will be
comic.
excited.
I cannot find anywhere near me that's selling the single issues, unfortunately. So I'm gonna have to wait until they've done the run and they sell it as the whole book, which is, I mean, better anyway, I suppose. But yeah, they're doing Funko Pops. I'll throw them up on screen because they do look cool. We've got Sonic as the Flash. We've got Wonder Woman. Well, okay, I've written these the wrong way around. We've got Sonic as the Flash, we've got Amy as Wonder Woman, we've got Shadow as Batman, Knuckles as Superman, Silver as Green Lantern, and Tails as Cyborg. Sonic, Amy, and Shadow are dropping July 20th. Knuckles and Silver are dropping August 24th, and Tails specifically doesn't have a release date yet for some reason. But they look cool.
Out of the ones that's mentioned, the only one that I'm kind of happy about is the Batman Shadow.
I would say if I was to get one, that would be the one
really cool
I would get. Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm mad that they didn't do a Robin.
Yeah, I mean it's a Justice League thing, I suppose. It's fine, but
well, they've got Cyborg,
who is in the Justice
Teen
League.
Titan. Yeah, but he's a Teen Titan.
He was 20 years ago.
Well, depending on which one you watch. Well, and they're doing Robin dirty, man. That's all I'm saying. Give Robin some respect.
We love Robin here. You know I love Robin here. I'd show you my many Robin memorabilia, but it's all in boxes right now.
Yeah, I mean, your name, dude. Your name. That's kind of a big deal.
What?
I'm about to say, does your name, your username?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Directly linked to, So like,
I was like, where are you going?
Go ahead, give the proper pronunciation of your username.
Screamer.
Okay, and how does that relate?
I don't know how people get this wrong. All right, everyone who ever reads my name says a screamer. A screamer is a word. I didn't make it up. It's a word. Okay, anyway. But yeah, so an eskrima, or kali as they are sometimes called, is the like two long sticks that are in a lot of martial art practices. It's basically the bow staff cut in half. You may recognize it from Nightwing. It's what he uses. It's his signature weapon. That's where the name comes from.
Yeah.
I originally wanted to name myself after Deathstroke. I'm glad I didn't do that because he has since led into a bit of controversy. But anyway, his weapon is called Scrimjower, which doesn't roll off the tongue as well. So I thought maybe something else.
I hardly know her.
Hey, so Deathstroke's main antagonist, well, he is his main protagonist, I suppose, is Nightwing or Robin from the Teen Titans, and his weapon is the Eskrima sticks. So that's where the name comes from.
Yeah, which we'll get to play a little bit of Nightwing, or at least one of us will, because I finally, after all this time, got Gotham Knights.
All this time since we were talking about it last week.
Well, no, I mean,
he bought it
like,
the same
after all
day.
this time since it came out.
I
did. We stopped recording last week, and I went to a store, found it, and bought it.
I haven't made the clip yet, but that is going to be part of the clip. Is I'm going to show, because he sent me a picture like 2 hours later of him holding the. So I'm gonna
I
put.
was like, hey, look what I found. So that was cool. That was
So,
cool.
yeah.
I'm glad I bought it. And Steam has a sale. Also, everybody, game sales are happening
Yeah,
right
the Steam
now.
Summer
You have
Sale,
PlayStation
obviously.
sales,
You know about the Steam
Steam
Summer Sale.
Summer Sale. You should.
There's no way
you've
you're
got,
watching this
Amazon's
podcast and you
gonna have
weren't
the
aware.
Prime sale. Yeah. Other places, pretty much everywhere is having summer sales. So check out if you're trying to buy some games. I've been an advocate that games have been on sale for a pretty good while now. That's why I keep getting so many, because I have a problem. I keep buying games. And I feel like brand new games are still a problem. You're still gonna pay a lot for those. But if they're not new, you're gonna find pretty good sales on them lately. I feel like the gaming market, whereas everybody's complaining about prices going up and Mario Kart being 80 and Xbox raising their prices, I feel like the used market is doing pretty well right now. So if you are a gamer that likes to buy used physical media, that there are options out there, and they're pretty good. So check them out.
So we've been trying to
What I've been
play Suicide
Right.
Squad Kills the Justice League for quite some time now. We're trying to get a group together. We have the people, it's just we're all busy at different times.
Yeah.
So hopefully
Yeah.
after I've moved house and things are a little more stable, hopefully nothing else happens,
Yeah,
and then we can chase it up and actually do that. But that's like
I'm gonna
$4
buy that game
right
'cause
now.
it's $5.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's maybe you should get a group of your friends together and play Suicide that just killed that game. Get them together, play that game. It's a terrible game from what I hear, but the point of it is that it's a terrible game.
And that's why it'll be fun.
Yeah, of course.
Terrible games are great for playing in groups. Like, I'm not going to play it on my own, don't get me wrong, but if we're all going to play...
Yeah, why do I play...
Because there's 4 of us
why I play
playing to do
Fortnite
it.
so much.
Exactly. No one plays Fortnite. I haven't played Fortnite all week because no one's been online, but, after we finish this, we might. We sometimes do.
Sometimes we do.
Well, it is
Check
a bit
us
late,
out.
actually. But anyway.
Oh, yeah.
That has been us.
That's been the news this week, folks.
Can you hear that siren in
Remember
the background? Sorry, guys.
hate your local and far away Microsoft, because they're doing things that are wrong,
That they are.
as they usually do, and they'll do nothing but benefit from them. So we don't like that, and they shouldn't, because if they didn't, maybe they wouldn't feel so up about themselves. So yeah, just don't support them if you can. If they have a sale, don't buy anything from them. Buy from another company that also sells their games. Maybe, I don't know. Do something that throws their metrics off. I'm not saying full on boycott them, because I'm never one to fully release a statement
They
like that.
being
But,
nasty.
wink, wink, hint, hint. They suck. So, yeah, that's it. Don't forget to like, comment, and comment. Tell us about ourselves. We say some dumb things here, and we say some smart things here. If you have smarter things to say or dumber things to say, let us know them, because we're all about information. If you know something,
These outros are getting longer and longer. Like, comment, subscribe,
wrong,
bell.
they absolutely
Bye.
are. Yeah. Okay. All right. That was a bit rushed. Okay. Let's take a time. Thank you for watching. If you've watched it this far. Okay. We really appreciate it.